Here we share with you the top points on why colleagues and employees resist receiving feedback. Number 1, I feel judged. Just as managers are not initially used to giving feedback, employees are not initially used to receiving it. It can feel personal, and as a result, many people act defensively. This type of fear of feedback makes them feel judged, and they can only hear criticism. They are not yet able to embrace that the feedback they are receiving is a gift and an opportunity to grow. That everyone starts somewhere and no one should expect to be an expert in the beginning. That we all have blind spots and having someone to point those out to us is a wonderful opportunity. It is not judgment. It is one of the most powerful gifts we can receive. To get there, however, staff need time and experience to get comfortable with the process. In far too many cases, the first time colleagues react strongly to feedback, the manager backs off and stops giving it altogether. Everyone must work together through that initial discomfort to truly reap the benefits of strong, constructive feedback. Number 2, I'm not good enough. One of the reasons people act defensively when they receive feedback is that they are not used to it. But perhaps more commonly, it is that the feedback hits a little too close to home. Often when we are told that we need to improve something, it brings up criticism of days that have passed. Perhaps from a judgmental parent or an unsupported spouse. Or perhaps we know the feedback is true and it makes us feel bad that we are not better than we are. Instead of viewing it as a starting point and an opportunity, this fear of feedback becomes personal and we only hear that we are not good enough. We may secretly long to only hear the good things, but deep down we know that this really only feels good in the moment. Even the most self-delusional of us can only fool ourselves so long. What truly builds confidence is feelings of success. Helping people get better will help them reach that success. Are you feeling targeted? If managers are discreet as they should be, staff are not aware what feedback other team members are receiving. As a result, it can feel like they are the only ones receiving such feedback and they may feel targeted as a result. As they see their colleagues doing what they perceive to be similar or worse than what they are doing, they may begin to feel resentful and attribute the feedback to their manager playing favorites or just not liking them. These things certainly happen and in many cases will be true. But it is most certainly not always true. You will never know what other conversations are going on amongst your team and you have no right to know. Your number one job is becoming the best you that you can be. And becoming that will only happen with others helping you grow. Let them help you grow. I am insecure. As with insecurity related to giving feedback, there can be great insecurity in receiving it. This fear of feedback may show up as not feeling good enough or feeling targeted, or it may show up as not feeling secure about your job. Perhaps criticism triggers a fear in you that you may be terminated, and this brings up any number of anxieties for you. Unfortunately, there is legitimate concern that this feedback will affect staff's future, as much of the feedback that is actually given is tied to performance reviews. A healthy feedback culture that permeates the organization would help to mitigate this fear. When people receive feedback throughout the year, it becomes normal and less scary. Environments that encourage risks and appreciate that learning and growth cannot happen without mistakes, will use feedback as an opportunity to do it better the next time around, not a chance to chastise or punish. Letting staff know that feedback is a chance to grow together creates a culture of security that while it can never guarantee long-term stability, it can at least lessen some of the fear around it. The next point is, I am afraid. Most of us have had an experience with the boss mentioned who says he's open to feedback but truthfully is not. He's the type of manager that will punish staff when they give him feedback. This punishment can show up in all sorts of ways, from poor treatment to low scores on performance reviews, all the way to firing. I did not want to imply that these fears are unfounded. In some cases, they are. So, what do you do about it? Here is a professional decision you may have to make for yourself at some point in your career. If you are working for someone who is not supportive of your growth and not willing to invest in you, what will you do about it? Will you confront your manager directly? Talk to his boss? Look to switch departments or even organizations? How will you take ownership of your work experience and make it the most fulfilling one it can be for you? Only through feedback. I feel too awkward. Feedback conversations can be fruitful and impactful, but they can also be awkward and unproductive. This is exacerbated by a manager who is not confident nor competent in giving effective feedback. This is hard to overcome, and these discussions can become nothing short of painful. But what can you take away from them anyways? Can you take some agency on your part and ask certain questions or otherwise positively contribute to the feedback discussions that are happening? Even if your manager isn't strong yet in giving you what you need, how can you solicit it? Are there other people you want to receive feedback from? Are you willing to take initiative to help foster your own growth? What are you willing to invest in?